Go ahead and add myself into the stream, and you can join me too. Let me remind you, live chat is open on YouTube. If you'd like to join me, I'd love to hear your comments. If you've got questions, if you've got insights you want to share, love engaging with you guys. So by all means, bring it. And of course, as usual, if you like the streams, do me a favor, smash all the buttons and help me grow this thing so we can keep things moving. And on that note, we're tight on time. So I'm just going to keep things moving and climb right in. Tons of it seems like as we get, closer and closer to the holidays, we're approaching a time that historically has been a very important time frame for moves with macro implications on the Bitcoin chart. And as that date nears, it seems like FUD is growing in the crypto space in major ways. I've seen more than one analyst call the top, mind you. And to be honest with you, I don't know if those are accurate calls or if they're just trying to be provocative and get the X.com algos working in their favor. But nonetheless, it's certainly given people a lot of reason to evaluate the charts and evaluate their positions, and some are indeed selling. So in this analysis, we're going to take a look at some of the data that some of those analysts are sharing to make those calls or those claims. And we're also going to take a look at some data that indicates that we just, that we might be on the cusp of a correction before the next leg up. As usual, we'll take a look at some technical analysis. We'll take a look at FireCharts, look at the order book and order flow data. And that is exactly where we're going to start. I've zoomed out. I posted this chart a little bit earlier on the material indicators page. Kind of just a broader view, a 6-month view of the order book and order flow data here in FireCharts. And something I want to highlight for you, I'm just going to boost the contrast here just a little bit so we can maybe see this a little bit better, is there is one block, not a huge one, one block of bid liquidity down here at the 66K level. Interesting, maybe just some plunge protection just in case. But the deeper concentrations of bid liquidity are here at the 91 level. And of course, we also have some at the 95 level, and we have some confluence with that here on the technical analysis side. As we can see, Bitcoin, we did get a trend precognition daily signal here. We got Bitcoin heading for a retest of support at the 21-day moving average. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's held as strong as it did, but we've had one wick below it, 2, 3. We've had a few interactions with it. This one was close too. So we've had quite a few tests, and this might be the one that breaks down. Secondary support, as we just saw on FireCharts, we have some in this range here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in terms of a potential landing zone if this indeed breaks here. And I've been calling for a correction, a deeper correction, for a long time, right? We've discussed this previously. There are plenty of occasions where Bitcoin goes through, 20 to 50, 60% corrections in bull markets. And there's this is no exception to that rule. There's no reason why that shouldn't happen now. I mean, there's a lot of discussion over, the ETF flows are keeping things up. Well, ETF flows are certainly helping, but that is not where the lion's share of the liquidity is in this market, right? So ETFs have been absorbing a lot of the sell pressure, and there has been some here, as you can see here on FireCharts. Just in this time frame, in the last 6 months, these purple whales dominate the price action for Bitcoin. At least they have historically over time. And you can see they've sold about 17% of what they maxed out at here in this time frame, in this 6-month period. Whether this is an indication that real distribution has begun, or whether this is merely profit taking up here in this 100K range, is something that we're watching to see how this develops, right? A move down to this 91K level would not be a big deal, in my opinion. Where things start getting interesting is if we break through this, right? And then take that deeper ride. So at the top, I told you I would look at some potential targets if things do break down. If things do break down, then obviously I'm looking first and foremost, as I mentioned, to these two targets, right? First test of support here at the 21-day moving average. That one's pretty close. let's see where that sits right now, just to try and be somewhat precise. $96,856. So we're approaching that now, right? That's less than $1,000 away, about $800 lower than where we are right now, and we can certainly wick through it and bounce back up. The next potential landing zone up here around 91.6. And I just showed you on FireCharts where we have some liquidity in that range right around here, right? And so below that really would be this entire, stack here. The bottom of this range, this yellow, this 57 million or so is right there. And so, could we go potentially further? Absolutely. There's a gap down there somewhere, a CME gap that lives right in this range. That's our most recent gap, 77.9K up to 80.6K. Not sure that that's going to get tested right now, but you certainly can't rule it out. Now, in terms of upside targets, that's something also that we should, always be in tune to. And as I have shown you here previously, we're still developing off of this cup and handle pattern, in my opinion. It's been validated now. Can it make it all the way up? So to forecast a potential target on a measured move from a cup and handle, we take measurement. Since I'm on log scale, we look at rim of the cup down to the bottom of the cup. That's a 77% move. So we'll look at the same 77% on a breakout and see that gets us somewheres around this 122 level. 122.5 is kind of the number I've been looking at, but anywhere in this range is interesting to me. And of course, as this lifetime channel comes back into focus, that could really serve as resistance all the way up to, God knows where. Or if we can break back into that, we have just a whole new realm of price discovery available to us here. So those are the targets in both directions that I'm watching for Bitcoin. Now, in terms of the data, let me see if I can find something that I shared yesterday here on the Black Knox page from an analyst and a trusted analyst, I would say too. Gosh, has it been that long? Thought I posted it on that page. Maybe it wasn't on that page. Maybe it was on my personal page. Let's see. Basically the data that we've been seeing showed some large wallets moving. It showed some large wallets moving Bitcoin that had been dormant for a very long time. We see, as I mentioned, some sell pressure in the order flow on FireCharts as well. Let me just see if I can find. Bear with me. Here we go. J.A. Martin. And if you're not following him, I suggest you do so. It's a worthy follow. He really shares some fantastic data, and this is part of it. So let me see if I can find the post from the other day that I was commenting on. It's got a lot of content here. But nonetheless, he's basically talking about the amount of coins that have been moving. Here we go. This was his post that he felt like he had seen a top here. And there was a thread that went with this. I probably should have saved that for you guys. But let's see if I can find it here. So long-term holder distribution reflected in coin days destroyed. Really an interesting thread here. And I thought this data was also really interesting, right? That we talk a lot about the volume that MicroStrategy does. That's Michael Saylor's company, and the volume that the ETFs are buying, but they pale in comparison to what long-term holders have, right? Long-term holders sold 827,000 Bitcoin, where ETFs picked up 84,000 and Michael Saylor picked up 150,000. Okay, so that's barely a dent in this volume here. Right. So they've absorbed a fraction of it. And that is it. Right. So again, if you're interested in taking a deep dive into this thread, it's pretty interesting. There's some great data in here. Now, the question is this really the top, or are these just signs that maybe we're getting close to the top and Bitcoin is due for a correction? again, like I've said, I do feel like Bitcoin is ready for a correction. I do not feel like this is the tippy top of the market. I think that there's still room, and there's a couple reasons I think so. Obviously the fundamentals that we've talked about for months, based on the outlook, the institutional adoption, et cetera, et cetera. As I just pointed out to you here with this data, that is indeed just a fraction of the volume in the market, right? So that's certainly worth considering. But we're also entering a time of year which historically has been very, very good for Bitcoin. And I want to narrow in just briefly, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper here, maybe later in the week. But I want to show you a chart, something I have been watching for years since I first got into the space, and there seems to be over time some moves with macro implications around the December 17th / Christmas time zone, where we've seen a lot of big moves here over time. So I'm going to take it back. 2017, December 17th, macro trend reversal as the market had topped and dumped 84%. On the following year, Bitcoin finds a bottom. We get a reversal and a breakout above the 21-day moving average, and we have a 344% upside move. Now we back up here to 2019, monster move out of another finding a bottom here. It looked like a double bottom here, and price breaking out with a major upside move that went 943%, which takes it all the way to the top here. Right now, there were also other dips along the way. Black Swan happened with COVID in March of 2020, and Bitcoin bottoms out, finds its way back up. We get another breakout move, December 17th, 2020, and Bitcoin is off to the races once again. This served, as many of you may recall, as our all-time high. This was kind of the mid-cycle top here. Things broke down another 56%, and then boom, back up to an all-time high. And then guess what happened? December 17th, 2021. We see the first close below the 200-day moving average, and the macro trend breaks down, right? So we entered a bear market at that point. 2022 didn't happen on December 17th, but on the 16th, we get a flush below the 21-day moving average before a reversal. This was a bit of a fake out here, in my opinion, but it did have, I think, very important implications, as it did ultimately. We broke through. Let me zoom in on that a little bit tighter. We had broken through here the 21-day moving average to find our bottom, came up and tested it until ultimately breaking out, and the rest is history. We had yet another move in December 17th, 2023. This is a support test at the 21-day moving average to reclaim the 0.5 fib. I can show you I have a fib retracement from the macro all-time high at the time was 69K down to the FTX crash, which was the swing low. And in this move, we bounce off of the 21-day moving average and reclaim this 0.5 fib. And that sent us up here into, what then got us into just a phenomenal 2023 and end of 2023 and 2024 run, right? And so now here we sit, and guess what's happening? Here we are, December 10th. We got another week to go to get to that December 17th day. And it doesn't have to happen on December 17th. It doesn't have to happen at all. But this range of time historically has marked some very significant moves for Bitcoin. So I'm watching for that. And I think it would make sense maybe December 18th to be the day. And the reason for that is on December 18th, the FOMC meets for their next Fed rate decision. 86% chance that, according to the market, 86% of the market has baked in a 25 basis point rate cut on December 18th. And that could be a catalyst that sends things moving for us. So just one of many things to keep an eye on here as we approach that rate cut day. I think that if we do get that cut, the market is going to respond well to that. And if we flush between now and then, I'm okay with that, right? It still needs to happen, whether it happens before that date or after that date. I still think that Bitcoin needs to have a correction, a substantial double-digit correction. I'm not talking 10%. I'm talking greater than 20%, to find its footing and that next leg up. Whether it takes us, whether we top out here in this, in this low 100K zone that we've been chopping in here recently, or whether we move up to that 122.5 target that I have, based on that measured move out of the cup and handle, or if Bitcoin indeed moves higher. That all remains to be seen, and we're just going to keep watching these data points to see how things develop and evolve along the way. Let's wrap it here with a parting shot of the order book here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter, to see if we can get any more clues of how things might be developing, as we watch. And part of the things, one of the things that I love about looking at FireCharts here is we can see when liquidity is moving, right? And when it starts to move in the opposite direction, right? When we start seeing support come in, that's a positive sign. Maybe we're going to get a bounce. But when we start seeing things move down, well, that's a concern that things might be breaking down a little bit. And we have a little bit of both going on at the moment. So it's difficult to make a solid read just based on that. We kind of have to look at all the data in totality, and to put things in context of other things happening in the market. And at the moment, we do see some support stacking here above this 95K level, which would be consistent with what we saw on the technicals on the chart here. Basically, the 21, either the 21-day moving average holding, or taking it down here into the top of this channel, which has been tested a couple of times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times so far. So that's what I'm watching day by day, hour by hour, to see how things develop and make my decisions as the market continues to propel through the end of the year. And I'm going to wrap it right there, guys. I'll leave you that one parting shot and remind you that we do have some sales going on items on material indicators. All the links and descriptions are in the all of the links and offers are in the description down below. Thanks again for watching, guys. And if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the streams in the future.